But you said BCO. Now that's Brick City Outlaw.
Yeah, that's down the way. But those were the games that was out at the time that was doing what they was doing against one another. You know.
You said you dwelled in that for a little bit.
Well, we watched them and we wanted to be something like that. So we would go out here and fight and do all the little knucklehead stuff that knuckleheads do. Get in trouble for trying to be at the parties, trying to see what they do, and why do you think a lot of us in that generation didn't follow the path of what we were seeing, like when we were seeing the original Renaissance in the community? In your mind, why is it you think we went another direction? Well, it was a time where it was really rough in some houses, and a lot of people had broken up houses, so they didn't have a father or mother to keep them in the house all day long. And the ones that did, they was working so hard. When they get tired, we still figured out a way to get out. Yep. So I'm not gonna just blame the parents because, we was just kids and we was very adventurous. So we would go out here.
You couldn't blame it all on your parents.
No, I couldn't blame it on all of them because they can lock the doors and we still hop out the window. Yep.
That's what you would do?
Yeah, that's what I would do when we was young. To go to the house party?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we going to the house party. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And take the punishment later.
Yeah. So, were you in a two-family household? Two-parent household?
I grew up in a single-family house. My grandfather was the primary caregiver.
Hold that thought, man. We got to take a quick break. Make sure everything okay. We'll be right back in a minute.
All right.
Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the Hood.
Restart the interview, bro. Start the time. Start the question, because I guess it was a sound issue.
Okay. Okay.
If I ask you the same question.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, we back. Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the Hood. I don't know if we was having some kind of issue, but we started off the interview. We right here with Mr. Raymel Easter Sr. He's a concerned citizen and an entrepreneur from this community. Now, when we came on, we were talking about the renaissance of the community, and there's a lot of communities around the country that's wanting to do some of the same things. They might not call it a renaissance. They might have whatever name for it, but they want to do some of the same things.
What does Renaissance really mean?
Renaissance, when you look up the word, it means a renewed interest in something.
That's right.
That's the definition of Renaissance. So when you say superior Renaissance, you're talking about in the superior area.
Right.
A Renaissance, a renewal of where you had you had businesses, you had personal growth, you had business, you had unity, you had prosperity, and what me and Raymel was just talking about, because Ray grew up in this community. Grew up around across the street. His parents went to school with Steve Harvey and everything. Say they ate beans. Did y'all eat beans too, Ray?
Yeah, we ate beans too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we ate beans too. We ain't gonna get on the dudes with the straight headlines like they the only ones eating beans. You know what I mean? Ray ate some of them same beans.
Trust me. They was in the house.
They was in the house. Because we had to do. But no, this community is superior. If you didn't know, it has a rich history. It goes back to where you had riots between, the establishment and pro-black nationalists.
Yeah.
And Ray and we of the same era, that was our OGs.
Yeah.
And then at some point the community went from fighting, the oppressor to being divided.
Yeah.
And Ray, you were telling me candidly, you kind of went in that direction for a little bit. You got with the gangs. You said you were from a single parent household?
Yeah. Yeah, my mother, she raised me, but my grandfather did the most of it because he was the primary care of the house.
taking care of all the bills, you know. So I grew up with a grandfather who was very loving, and at the time I was just, you know, going through the motions of being a teenager, just trying to figure out what's my next move or what should I do or what do I want to do. So I ran the streets with a few of my cats, and we was doing what young guys do. We was trying to find ourselves, and that was the beginning of what became of me.
Okay, so you were running the streets and you were trying to find your way.
Yeah.
You know.
And in the midst of that, you know, bumped my head a few times trying to follow other people's footsteps, trying to big up with a few peoples that really didn't have my best interest. You know, part of growing up, you know, painful things and fun things, but that's where it started. That's how it started, you know. Yeah. And if you don't go through some of those things, you won't be able to understand what it feel like to go through it to have it.
Well, you know what? Tough times don't last, real people do, you know. And you told me on the entrepreneurial side, you got the landscaping business. Yeah. You know, and that's hey, you gotta want to do that. Landscaping ain't no, you know, that ain't no child's play. Nah. You know, cause you gotta landscape, you gotta till the land, you gotta move shrubs, you gotta lawn, you gotta do all of this stuff. It ain't no child's play. How long you been doing that, man?
I've been doing that now for roughly about 8 years strong. But I was working with a few companies and learned how to use the tools, and started investing in myself. And what made me do that was I felt like I was too old to be going back to school trying to learn how to become a barber or something. I didn't want to be in nobody's face trying to get them a line up. And I wasn't never good with taking orders, so working at a restaurant or something wasn't going to be my forte anyway. So I went back to where I started. I used to cut grass in the neighborhood for my neighbors and for all the peoples around here, and I came back and do the same thing. And once I started my landscaping business, I cut the same peoples that I ran in their yard and hopped the fences over.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no, we ain't just leave no footholes in your backyard and threw up the middle finger and you couldn't catch us. And now we older, begging, knocking on your door. No, I came back correct.
Cold-blooded.
Right.
You know, no. So hold on, you said you worked with a few companies before you actually went out on your own.
Yeah.
Fathom that.
Yeah.
Fathom that. I just wasn't up under you. I wasn't just up under the wing.
You gotta learn how to follow before you lead.
That's right.
You know,
I'm told that you went out and got all this kind of equipment and stuff too.
Yeah. That was part of the come up. You know, you have to invest in yourself. You know, you can work all day, but if you don't have a plan, then you go fail. And
what you would do? You would do these yards, and then you would take your earned money and you would spend some of it on the equipment?
Well, it wasn't just like that. It was like, you know, half of the time, you know, I learned how to use some of this equipment from being a kid. So you got to cut your own grass. I got a yard. So I got a few of the tools. I just wanted to be in a better situation, so I bought better equipment. Instead of it being household equipment, I bought commercial equipment. And that means it was more durable.
Yeah.
You know, it costs more, but you make more. Yeah. Because the faster you do the job, the faster you can get to the next job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The less it break down, the more money you can save.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Do you got other people that you got from the community that you employ?
Yeah. I come back and got a few of my buddies that, you know, that wanted to try it out, and a few kids in my neighborhood that I'm living in now. And I give a few people a shot at it, you know. I'm not very big on it, like a big staff. So, you know, a lot of times people come and go because they just want a quick buck. But if they really, really want to do this, they know where to come.
Now, at the beginning of the show, whether people was able to hear it or not, you gave reverence and shout out to Bud. And his family. Why was that?
Okay. Bud is a very, 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 very popular person in our neighborhood in all good aspects. He used to go out here and get on the bullhorn and talk. But when I was younger, he used to have all the big peoples in his barbershop, and we didn't have no money. So I go up here and listen to him talk all day. And at the end of the day, I get a free haircut. So when I figured that out, every week I came up here, and I might have to sit up here at the barbershop and listen to everybody talk from about 12 noon to 6 in the evening. But at 6 in the evening, I finally got a haircut. Didn't have no money, so that was a hustle. Go up here, get free game and get a cut.
Get free game and get a cut.
That's how I learned. That's how I learned about Tracy Chapman, Ron O'Neal, Bob Hope, Superman. I learned all that because sitting at Bud Shop, all the cats that was his age or a little bit younger was giving each other conversation, and I was ear hustling.
Is that what, do you see that as missing nowadays? Like older cats, able to pull a coattail of the younger, other younger ones?
Yeah, it's a lot of that missing now because people are afraid now. They're afraid to take chances. A lot of people are afraid of failure. And the only way you're going to win, you got to lose. Right. That's a part of winning. Right. If you don't lose, you can't win.
Ray, you had I brought it up, trial and tribulations. There was a point you did a little time?
Yeah, I did. I did it. I did 2 numbers, but they were short stintings. But the last time I went to jail, I learned my lesson as far as myself. I had rest in peace, Stacy. I had a involuntary manslaughter over a neighborhood fight. It went all the way left, and it shouldn't have went that way. Rest in peace. He was my friend, even though we wasn't able to speak after that day. But that was a time in my life.
Was a friend of yours.
Was actually a friend of mine. That wasn't.
Let's clear that up. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, that was actually a friend of mine. When I got shot in my head as a young guy,
accident.
When I got shot in my hand as a young guy, I was able to run to his house and get towels and wait on it, and they called the ambulance. So the reason why this hand is still working is because they called the ambulance. So the love came from that house. So it was no malice. That was a friend of mine.
So it was just a tragic.
It was a tragic situation. It wasn't nothing purposely. We argue, we fight, we do that, and those are the things you do when you going through some things, But
if looking back today at the argument, would you have walked away now, knowing what you know now about that argument? Would you would have walked away now, or you would have continued to try to get your?
I probably wouldn't have been in that situation because I wouldn't have been there with the things that I know now. Too much time on your hands will put you in situations that make you think you're missing out on something when you're really getting yourself deeper in trouble. So the mere fact that I had nothing to do and I was running in the streets, I had to get myself together. And that was one of my turning points right there. That's where the healing came in within myself.
Did the guy that you had the altercation with that unfortunately passed away, did he pass away before you were in prison or while you were in prison?
No, he passed away before.
Before you went in there?
Yeah, he passed away before. And
what were you thinking about while you were in there? Because obviously you're showing remorse now.
Yeah, I was going through all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I woulda, I coulda, shoulda.
What about his family? Were you talking with them? Did they didn't want to talk?
Well, at the time it was new, so it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard, just looking them in their face, knowing that they loved when that passed, and I'm still here, no matter how much I thought I was in the right or somebody may have thought he was in the wrong. It wasn't like that. So it took years and years and years for me and a few of his family members to be able to sit down and talk and reminisce about some of the things that we were going through before that happened.
But you've been able to do that.
But I've been able to do that.
Ah!
I've been able to do that.
Ah!
Yeah.
Fathom that.
Yeah.
Fathom that. He said we were friends, actually. I got shot in my hand. That's the first place I went. If I wouldn't have went there and they wouldn't have called the authorities, who knows if I would have had use of my hand like the way I got it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't no love lost. But things can get heated, man. We got to reflect. I see it so much, I see so much destruction happen when we could have just not been in certain situations, man, like you said. I seen it. I've been in stuff when I seen it and I said, oh, it's time for me to go.
And soon as I said that and I left, shit went left.
Exactly. It ain't.
And those people could have left
quick.
like I did, but
And it happens quick.
it happens quick, man.
In a split second you can go from being out here to life in prison. In a split second.
Man, what
5 seconds can change your whole life.
what kept you from being defeated though? Because you could have had the frame of mind where you could have been left in there. You could have stayed in and you could have got into more trouble and increased your number.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You could have got out and became a drug addict, a wino, you know, but you persevered. What was it that kept you from folding while you were in there behind the wall?
Well, I had to dig deep. I had to lose some friends. I had to lose some sleep. And I had to gain some momentum and positivity. So I had to actually go through that to get to where I'm at now. I had to go work at Minuteman just to detox from acting like I'm bigger and better than others. I had to, I had to catch the bus, and I had to humble myself. I had to humble myself. And when I humbled myself, I found peace. So I kept grinding. I kept grinding. And there's a saying, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create tough times. So I had to go through that cycle.
That's a great thing, man.
I had to go through that cycle.
You had to go through that cycle.
Yeah.
So what keeps you on the upper echelon of that cycle?
Is I got family that love me. That, I got family. I got peoples that depend on me. That appreciate what I can bring to the table and appreciate my thoughts and appreciate what I can do. And I have proven myself to them, so they're able to walk with me with their eyes closed because they know that the direction I'm going is safe.
Were you down on yourself in prison by going through what you went through?
Yeah, I was embarrassed. I embarrassed myself. I didn't need to be there. I knew better. I seen things. I visioned the bull crap that happened in my life before. Even though you might want to change, you don't change until you get tired yourself. Other people can get tired for you, but that don't change. I got tired. I got tired of being handcuffed. I got tired of losing my money. I got tired of losing friends because I don't know how to do the things the right way. I was pushing people away because, people don't trust you. You can't get too many favors.
What was it about you that allowed you to trust in you?
What made me trust in me?
Yeah.
Was when I seen that I was okay with not having everything fast. I had to learn how to. Everybody got a different rock bottom, and when I got locked up, my mother died that year.
While you were locked up?
Not while I was locked up, but she died that year. She died that year.
Yeah, it really don't matter. Yeah, that's tough.
That year, and that was the same year that I just got out of all the situation with the hood situation that put me there. Well, that didn't put me there. I got out. Thankfully, that some of my friends and the neighbors, they allowed the authorities to know that they seen what happened and that it wasn't intentionally. So with that, that's how that went. So when I was locked up, I was getting to a spot where I was tired. But you have to go through that for about 4 or 5 years before you gain momentum because the urge still on your back to get back. As soon as you make a mistake, like, let me do this. But when I came home, I said, nah, I ain't selling drugs no more. And when I never sold drugs no more after I started, I left it alone.
You know how hard it is to not sell a drug but start a landscaping business? That's got to be like, come on, man.
Well, as I'm working and I'm watching other people successfully run their business, I play numbers in my head all the time. I look, how many people's in this barbershop? How much you think he cutting a head? And I do numbers like that, and I go back to my lab and say, well, I need to cut grass faster because I need to cut about 15 yards a day if I want to have this type. And that's how I do it. You gotta uplift yourself. So I had to find peace within myself, so I could find that courage in myself to do them type of numbers.
Yeah.
And I learned that with Bud. When he was down at the other shop down the street, he walked me down here to this building before it had any ceiling. And he was like, you could do this too. And I was like 14 years old. And I'm like, I could do this too. Okay, but that ain't resonating like that because I'm a kid. I'm like, good for him. Well, this is where I'm going to get my next free haircut.
Mel, tell me how you reconcile when you got out the looks. This nigga, man, this nigga got out, man. This nigga done killed this nigga. Look at him, he admitted, man. How did you reconcile, the looks, the whatever people had on their mind, where you blanked it out and you just thought about what you need to do to pull yourself up?
Well, first of all, the mere fact that I knew I didn't intentionally do it, I had a different look about it. Even though, I got burly face, I'm an aggressive guy, so I always was, one of them type guys that always was aggressive anyway. So how I got myself together was I just started step by step, baby steps, like go around people that ain't really bringing that up, traveling around, doing things, working around places that keep my mind thinking otherwise. I was a doorman at a bar. One of my close friends opened up a bar. He allowed me to come in there and be the bouncer. And, things like that. It was his first bar, and I was his first bouncer. So I was able to go around.
Hold on, I gotta fathom that though, cause that's like, man, cause that's another thing right there. When you're a bouncer, you gotta deal with people consuming alcoholic beverages, and then they get out of character, get out of their right minds, and you gotta solve that issue. Like, did you have any of that in your mind? Like, man, I hope I don't really get into no shit.
Yeah, but when
or you was just thinking about I gotta get paid or what?
Well, you think about those things, but you also got to think of, okay, what you gonna do? How you gonna come up? And when somebody give you opportunity, you seize the moment and you just try to make the best of it. Thankfully, I hadn't go through none of that to keep that job. I didn't have to go beat nobody up or push nobody down. I mean, some bar things happened, but it wasn't too heavy.
Okay, yeah. So you didn't really have that in the back of your mind.
I ain't have to get too rough.
Yeah, so we get out and we got the mindset to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. So when I come home, I say,
did you go to try to make peace with that family when you got out, or it took you a while to do that, or
it took a minute
because you coming back to the hood.
But here's what I did. I came back to the hood, but my attitude changed as far as how I'm dealing with things. Like I wasn't selling. I just stopped selling drugs out the blue. I just gave it up. So I'm hanging around people, but I'm not doing the exact same thing. I'm talking about things I'm talking things into existence. Like, yeah, we need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. A lot of people don't want to hear that because you ain't did it long enough to convince nobody.
Right.
So now that I've been doing it long enough, hopefully somebody understand that they can do it too.
So they convinced now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they convinced
everything
now.
Everything you do right away don't resonate with everybody the same time it do with you. Yeah. They got to go through their own things, and then when they get their rock bottom, they'll figure some things out. And that's what it be. Unfortunately, you have to go through it to understand it.
That's right. You got to.
Because everything that's given to you that come easy doesn't necessarily mean you understand it. Yeah. You can give me money, you can give me opportunity, but if I ain't putting no effort into it, it's not going to last.
What's the difference between I was hanging around and soaked up game all day and then I got the cut to now, I'm out here putting yards together. I'm out here putting business together. I'm retaining business.
My maturity had to come in with that. I had to humble myself. Go back to the word humble. I had to humble myself. I had to remind myself that don't worry about what you don't have. Keep going. and you go get the things you need. Your wants will come later. I needed to get out these streets. I needed to have a job. I needed to be a provider. I have children, I don't need to embarrass them. I don't need to embarrass my last name. So I went from Ray Ray to Raymel to Mr. Easter.
Yeah. No, Mr. Easter Senior.
Yeah, Mr. Easter Senior.
Because we got Junior?
Yeah.
How old is Junior?
He's 27, 28.
27, 28?
Yeah, right now he's incarcerated. He come home in a few years, and I'm hoping that the things that I'm doing shine a light on what he can do. And I'm hoping when he do come home, he can follow some of my, and I can give him some of the tools that I've worked with.
Mel, do you write them?
No, I don't write, but I text him all the time.
Wait. Texting?
Yeah, we could text.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm about to say he ain't jacking like Diddy up in there.
Nah, but times change. They got JPay, Jmail. You get to communicate. But what I don't do is, I don't go into prison.
You don't go in.
I haven't been in there, but
you don't want. Why you don't go into prison?
Well, first of all, I have my own reasons why. One, I don't want to be in them walls again. Second of all, the decisions that we make, we have to go through. I didn't get no visits when I was in jail, and I didn't want none because I didn't want my family to go. I didn't want my family to go through what I had to go through, being strip searched and go through all that, and then give me 25 minutes, and then they walk out the building and they crying because they can't take me with you. I didn't want to take them through that, so I took my beating like a man. I'm not saying that some people don't need that, but that ain't the way.
You didn't want that for your people.
That ain't it. The CEO got to watch over everybody.
Yeah, man.
You got to go to the vending machine to get what you want.
Yeah.
They can't even really. Man, it's weird. I had it going on business. I ain't gonna lie.
I hate the business, for real.
That's not a proud place, but it can be leveraged to get right. It's a place for people to detox, and detox ain't just alcohol. You can detox off stinking thinking.
Yep.
But you gotta want it. And you gotta recognize the tools that put you there, and you gotta recognize the tools you need to stay out of there. Now the tools that got me there, I didn't want to be bothered with it no more.
That's right.
And the tools that kept keeping me out of there is cutting grass, working. I work a full job and still cut grass. I don't have no days off. I work 7 days a week.
You work a full job,
Yeah,
and then
do
you
overtime.
do your landscaping.
Yeah, I did. I went to work today. And I went to work at 5 in the morning. And I got off at 5:30. And I went home and got myself together and here. And I'm going to be at work tomorrow. And I'm not going to be late.
Yeah,
Because I'm conditioned to continue to grind.
Yeah.
And one day I won't have to work for no one else. But I'm not just working for no one. I'm working for someone, and I'm continuing to add to my business.
Man, where does that strength come from? That strength of character?
Because I had to dig deep and remind myself of the things that I was told and was shown. I seen Bud on the corner with a bullhorn. I seen my grandfather take care of a whole house with no wife. My grandmother died when my mother was a baby. So he raised 7 peoples in the house with no wife, and I never seen a woman in my house spend a night with my grandfather.
That's right.
Wow.
Big.
So I knew it could be done, and then I seen how nice my house looked living with my grandfather, that I wanted nice things. We had a nice house. I was not even going to lie, we not, too many of us didn't have nice insides around here. We didn't grow up like we didn't have. We just wanted to be kids. And some of the kid things that we did turned into bad behaviors, and the bad behaviors shined for a long time. It was a shine. It wasn't a good shine, but it shined for a long time.
Tell the truth, yo.
Yeah, it shined for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but our young man, he says 27 years old.
Yeah.
And how long he got left before he be home?
5 more.
5 more years?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough, man.
But you got to understand. You got to understand. Not about being tough. You do the crime, you gotta do the time. And then let's be real. You got another chance at life. You gotta get out here and make the best of it. You know, sometimes when you give a person a pat on the back, they come out here and double their troubles. Sometimes you need to sit down and get the stinking thinking out your mind. And then you go through a few things, you lose a few friends, lose a few family members, and those are the things that make you want to be a better person, or should want to make you be a better person. You can use things to enable you, or you can use things to motivate you.
Yeah. That's real talk.
And I use some of my worst times as motivation.
You say you spoke to Stacy family, and evidently is some forgiveness there.
Yes, it's not so much just forgiveness. It's what I call, a mutual understanding of, it's pain gonna always be there. It's gonna always be pain there. I can understand that. So I'm not trying to erase the pain. I just want you to know that, at the time that we was just assholes. And we were doing asshole shit. And the repercussions behind that is what happened that time, and that's what catapulted me to be a better person. Even though you can't see that right then and there because, it takes about 5 to 6 years to do something consistently enough before you really know how to do it.
Does that feeling of understanding from these individuals, does that lift you?
Yeah. Yes. Don't no one, even though don't no one want to walk around and have to look over their shoulder every day with someone that you really didn't mean no harm to.
Yeah, fathom that.
Fathom that. So that's nothing I'm proud of.
Yeah.
I didn't, that's nothing I'm proud of. That was a part of me that, got me together afterwards. But at that particular time, I was reckless. So were we. We were reckless. But I had to take accountability. I had to think different. So I had to do things different. I got friends that's doing a whole lot of great things, that's been in jail longer than me and came out here and made a difference. So we're not just peoples that did wrong. We peoples who understood that we could turn some of that wrongdoing into uplifting. I know what it feels like to be shitted on, mad at. I also know what it feels like to be appreciated and cared for.
Did you take to certain faiths and beliefs and ideologies while you were in there?
Well,
maybe faiths and beliefs and ideologies that you hadn't taken on until you got there?
I wasn't there that long to really
okay.
soak the oak that long. But what I did
soak the oak that long.
But what I did when
I gotta use that, Mel.
But what I did when I came home was I started researching. My wife, she's very big on.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah, I'm married.
Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wife's name?
Sheila Easter.
Sheila Easter.
Sheila
E.
Yeah, Sheila E.
Sheila E. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Sheila? How long y'all been together?
We've been together this time since 2011, but this was my very, very first girlfriend, so we go way back.
Before all your troubles and everything.
Yeah. We go back there. Some things come back.
Did she give you positive encouragement upon your release?
Well, she wasn't in my life when I got straight released. She happens to come back into my life at a time where I was trying to figure some things out, and I had the space to deal with and absorb. It's kind of hard when you a knucklehead, but when they come back, it felt good, and I needed that. I needed someone to understand me, who knew me, that and that was a part of what I became as I got older. As the love, the understanding, the maturity. Like, yeah, I'm loud, I'm boisterous, I be angry about a lot of things. She's just the opposite.
So she's been very instrumental in you
Yeah.
keeping a straight line.
Yeah, you need you know sometimes you could be the lighter fluid, and somebody is the lighter.
Yeah.
So that don't work.
Yeah.
I know that combination real well.
Yeah.
Them
You
type of
right.
combinations don't work.
Somebody could be the lighter fluid, and you could be the lighter.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I'm
true,
saying?
right, man. That's true.
You need the opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need the opposite. You know, if you the lighter, you want her to be a giant cup of water.
So she pushes you in all the positive directions for you to go for personal growth.
Yeah, everybody that's out here trying to make things happen, you need to be grounded. You don't, you can't be out here running streets with 15 of this, 15 of that, 15 of this, 15 of that, and don't think something ain't gonna go wrong. It's too much in between. So you got to get grounded. That's what worked for me. Somebody else, they got a different game plan, and it might work. I'm willing to listen. I ain't saying it don't work, but me, it didn't work. I don't need a whole bunch of chaotic.
Didn't work for me either.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
Be grounded.
You got to be grounded.
Now you say you wasn't in there that long. It was a couple years.
I was in there a couple years. I did altogether. I did like 2.5 years in 2 numbers. So the first number I did, I was a kid. When I went the first time, man, I was curious. I didn't care. I wanted to figure it out. And I went in there, and when I came home, the sad part is I was out here for about 15 years, and then decided to go visit again. And that's when.
Said go visit again.
Yeah, because I wasn't there long enough. But I was there this time, and the second time I went in there, I was actually walking around with a friend of mine that's from my neighborhood, And I told him, I was like, man.
Hold on, because you was in there with guys with the big numbers, though, right? Wasn't you? Were you?
Yeah, but that's.
The guys with them elbows.
Yeah, but.
You know what I'm saying?
But when your status is, I haven't been here long. I haven't been going back and forth to jail, so I'm not a high security risk. I'm in the open. I'm in the open dorm. I'm in an open dorm where you don't really get no peace. Everybody could talk to you. You could talk to somebody all the way across the room without even getting up. But the moral of the story is, I was walking around the yard and I said to a friend of mine, I just cut him off. I said, man, I ain't doing this no more, man. And he's like, what you mean? I was like, man, I'm about to go get my driver's license. I'm about to do this and that. He was looking at me and like, yeah, whatever. I got home before him. When he came home, he said, man, you wasn't lying. I didn't know how I was going to do it, though. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew I wasn't going that way.
Hold on, let me get this straight. You ran into a guy you was in there behind the wall with.
We was in there together.
You told him how you was going to straighten up and straighten out when you got out, and you did just that. Got your driver's license together, got a few things in order. You run into the guy.
No, we're not just running to the guy. We're friends. So he comes see me.
Okay.
We ain't running in.
Okay.
We call each other to this day.
Okay.
So when we did that and he came out.
Hey, Mel, what's up? I'm out now. All that crap.
Oh, come on.
All that cap you was talking, where you at?
Oh, I'm in the hood. Where you at? I stay at Miss B house. So I'm staying at Miss B house. Miss B is the person, rest in peace, Miss Brown. She gave me the opportunity to live in her house and get on my feet.
Upon your release?
Yeah, because she moved. She moved out the house. Listen to this story. I didn't want to go where I was able to go.
Where you was going to be paroled to?
I wasn't paroled. I was straight released.
Okay.
Because first of all, I didn't do time for that situation.
Okay.
I sat in the county, and the county freed me. I got a no bill, which means circumstances that happened didn't fall into the criteria to send me up the way.
Okay.
But that still doesn't mean nothing when you hurt someone loved one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the sting is still there, regardless if I'm on the street.
Right.
So when I got out, she was moving to another place, and she overheard me talking to her son. She said, "You can stay here and get yourself together," and I did just that.
Stay here and get yourself together. Them angels.
And I
Them angels on earth, baby.
I was able to stay there for about 16, 18 months. And I was able to get myself together.
So you didn't
I
waste
thought it was
no...
only going to take 6 months at first, though. But when the first 6 months went past so quick, because I was so happy I had some
freedom,
freedom, that the 6 months went past and I hadn't applied all my tools together. I ain't doing this, but I ain't did that yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm working, but I ain't working a steady job. You know, I'm just I'm butting heads with what I want to do. I'm quitting stuff that I don't like no more, and I had to figure it out. And after a few bumps heads, I figured it out.
So the woman let you stay in that place?
Yes.
What, like rent free?
No, yeah. But I gave.
But you gave?
Yeah, because she told me to get on my feet, but I didn't go it that way.
You gave.
I gave, yeah.
We had an angel look out for us.
Yeah.
And we did right by the angel too.
Yeah.
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 Thought it was gonna take me only 6 months, but when you start smelling that air again, and you ain't got to go to muster a child, you ain't got to go to roll call and all that. I don't know all the lingo. I'm just saying. I can't talk about it like Mel or like Bud can,
No, Bud don't talk about it like that.
Okay. No, that's another thing, Mel. When you got out, because, people do a little time, man, and it impacts them in ways that, you never really know. So since you've been out, do you talk about your experience, amongst your peers and other people? Like,
the friends that
you're blessing us tonight.
The friends that I grew up with know my story because I'm still living. And I'm still going through the motions of continuing to stay on the path that I'm doing. And that's part of my testimony as far as to myself. And then my children can see it because when they call me, I'm not in jail. And when they call me and they drop my grandbabies off, they coming back home with smiles on their face. I'm showing them because the places that I work, I haven't quit or got fired at. I'm showing them because every day I wake up, I get up and I leave the house to make sure I come in with some extra to put on the plate. And I still help people. And I look out for people because people's looked out for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't think,
So is that woman still around that looked out for you with the place?
No, she passed.
She
passed a few years ago. And trust and believe me, I was there to make sure.
Oh, you was there to help send her off?
Oh, yes.
And her family was there. Her family knew what was up with you and everything.
And those are the things the characteristics that people need to see when you say you change. Because sometimes when you're doing stinking thinking, you're ashamed to show your face because you know you ain't doing the right thing. That don't mean you don't care, but you'll be afraid to show your face because you ain't doing the right thing. And a lot of times, that's what it be. It don't be that they don't care. They just still ain't figured it out.
Still ain't figured it out. Yeah.
Even though you work for someone, you still got to work for yourself. And even though you can give advice, you still got to work on yourself.
Did Stacy have kids?
Yes.
How old are they now?
I'm not for sure, but a few of them they're grown.
They're grown.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them? Any of them?
Yeah.
Since you've been home?
Yeah. And it got to a point where we could talk about it. We could talk about it. We could talk about it. And we have talked about it. And, some days they'd be better than others. But we could talk about it.
None of that stuff got transferred on to you all's children.
It may have for a minute, but not no more. Because, some of the decisions that I made and how I carry myself diffuse things. Like, I'm not walking around like I'm entitled to be mad, like I'm entitled to stay angry, or I'm entitled to not allow other people to feel they feel. I have to just control me.
So, hey,
Mel helping a lot of people right now. Mel helping a lot of you all out there right now, man. Helping a lot of people in the world. Mel, I know you got to go. We're so proud of you, man. You don't need me to be proud of you, but just the fact that to see you standing up and you persevering through what you had to persevere, you know, and you're able to talk about it and you're willing to talk about it and spend time with me. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you all having me on your
show.
show.
You know, right now, give a few words. Lift somebody up, man. You know, they trying to figure it out. You know, they trying to figure it out, man. Help them get to a place where they can feel strong and feel good.
First and foremost, you have to sit down and think. And don't be afraid to use the word no. Because when you're too available, you'll put yourself in situations that you're trying to get out of, and sometimes you can't get out of it when you yes and everything. So no is a very, 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 very powerful word. Yeah. And you have to use that. Then, second of all, you have to keep on practicing. Because ain't nobody perfect. You got to keep practicing. So if you're good at cooking, keep cooking. If you're good at speaking, keep speaking. If you're good at cleaning, keep cleaning. And, you know, you got to let your good habits outweigh your bad habits. Because a lot of times we can't come up because our bad habits is overpowering our good habits. And you got to continue to believe that you can win. And even though you're winning, you're going to lose some sleep, some friends, some family members. So don't be afraid to lose, because that's part of winning.
Appreciate that. Raymel Easter Sr. with that great advice, baby. Yeah. Great story, man. I really appreciate your help, man. Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the hood. Yeah. Yeah, that was, he came with that. We're going to take some pics before you go.
Yeah. I did good, fellas?
Yeah, you did, man.
Thank you. I did great. That was my first podcast, man. I did good, bud.
Man, you did real great.
I did good, man. Thank you, man. Hey, I appreciate for y'all even having me, man. Wow. Yeah, I want to take some pictures.
If it ain't ghetto, it ain't us.
And I need a picture with you too, bud.
Shoot. Not just yourself. Now, Ray, we're gonna do a. You gonna let them know? We're gonna actually do a drop in the back. We got a backdrop. I want you to stand in front of and just talk about your experience tonight being on the show.
Okay.
And then tell the people to donate to the website, PlayaTshow.com. If it ain't ghetto, it ain't us. Hey, so Roland said you grabbed 2 of them things already, right? So
what you want?
So you grabbed the hot ones, bud. That's hot already.
Ain't none hot. No, Roland one. Let me take the one that was hot.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So none of it was ready to eat?
I want y'all to know, man, it was a good thing to be on the Playa T show. I'm glad he had me on here. I was able to rekindle some things with the barber shop that I grew up in, and it was very, very pleasing to be on this show, and I'm thankful. And Raymel Easter Sr. And if you need your grass cut, 216-860-72.
That's right.
Fuck that up. Redo that. God, you gotta do it. Fucking damn. I cut this shit out. I was drunk.
Oh, go ahead, do what you gotta do, Rick. If you gotta do it, go ahead.
I was giving my old phone number, and I ain't never did that shit.
Yeah, you just forgot the number. Yeah, go ahead and do it over, man.
All right. Hey, yeah, what's going on? This is Raymel Easter Sr. at the Players T Show. Very humble place. I mean, I love these people. These people are great. They'll show you a thing or two about yourself by just getting in front of this camera. And it's very, 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 very pleasing to be around very good people like this. And if you want your grass cut, 216-860-7442. And donate to the Players T Show. This is a very, very, very uplifting place to be in. And thank you very much for having me on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, legend. That was perfect too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. You know,
That was a great show.
yeah, and I appreciate it. And one day, you just want to get on here and just talk about, you know, like converse. Like we just giving ideas and thoughts on what's going on. Bring me to the table, cause I don't mind talking. You know, and I'm just saying, like, you know, like a behind the scenes thing, like you might just want people to. Yeah, because you talk you talk about a whole bunch of good stuff, man. You're a very good guy, man, and I appreciate it, man. And people appreciate you, man. They just afraid to get in front of the camera. And I don't give a damn how many teeth I got missing. I was coming on this show. Here you go.
Scared as heck, man.
Yeah.
Scared, man.
Shit, I was nervous too.
I say it all the time.
I was thinking all week, what I'm gonna say? What question you gonna ask? And then when I had to go through that whole feeling.